Guys, Sneaky Snake here, Brothers in Arms, World of Warships, and today's video we're going to take a look at a game that I had in the Tier 8 Soviet light cruiser, the Chapayev. I'm playing here with my buddy Fatal Donuts. He's in his Tier 8 Japanese destroyer, the Akazuki, and we're playing some domination here on the map Shards. So, the Chapayev is a ship that has been featured on our channel quite a few times, quite frankly. ElasticSpyder did a fantastic review on the ship, and then a couple weeks ago, I had a ridiculous game on Islands of Ice where I set the still current North American damage record in this ship of about 240,000 damage. However, I was still struggling with this thing win rate-wise, like the Shores, and since a couple weeks have passed, things have gotten much, much better, and this has certainly been, this game at least, the pinnacle of the time that I've spent in this ship. I finally got it fully upgraded. The range on this thing, 17.3 kilometers, is fantastic. You have the pretty good fire chance, the rapid fire guns, pretty decent AA, and then of course, we're going to take a look at the ship here. Look at that beautiful paint job. And this replay, yeah, it's got the fire camo on it. Yeah, let's just say this one is going to, that paint is going to be just kind of an allusion to what we're going to see here in this game. So my win rate has improved drastically in this ship, and it's something that I've mentioned it in the Chapayev game that I had a couple weeks ago. You know, with the Bajoni at Tier 6, the win rate was amazing, the damage was great, everything was fantastic. And then with the Shores, the damage was still there, but the win rate fell off of a cliff and was like 48% or something ridiculous. And now here with the Chapayev, for me, it's pretty much split between the Shores and the Bajoni now. It's somewhere in the mid-60s, near high 60s for win rate-wise, and it's improved very much so. So I just really wanted to show you guys this replay in particular because not only is it a really awesome replay, but I just want to talk a little bit more about this glorious Soviet cruiser. So here at the beginning of the game, my buddy Donuts is going to make a move into Objective Bravo, and I'm going to start out here getting some very long-range shots down at the Bismarck. Now, one thing about this ship that is really nice is the detection range on it. And since that game on Islands of Ice, I have been able to get the concealment for my captain. So now my detection range is around 10.5 kilometers, a little less than that. So what it means for this ship is with a range of 17.3 kilometers, I'm able to stealth fire between the ranges of 17.3 and going down to around 14.5. So I have about a 3-kilometer window where I'm able to shoot, assuming, of course, that the target that I'm shooting at, there's no destroyer or sneaky cruiser in between that would be able to spot me whenever I shoot my main guns. Now, as you can see here, I get my first fire of the game here on the Bismarck, and he is going to continue to be the priority target here. He burned his damage control, and looking at the leaderboard, the kill counter on the right, the Leander gets a double strike, first blood, devastating strike ×2 on 2 of our friendly destroyers, so this game already is not looking good. We're down 2 of our 5 DDs. So I continue to get more shots down at the Bismarck, and you just see the glorious rate of fire. This is why people enjoy playing Soviet mid-tier light cruisers, because you have a very good fire chance of 15 or 16%, depending if you run the flags. And yeah, there we go. Got 2 fires burning now on the enemy Bismarck, and unfortunately we lose a 3rd destroyer, so we're already down 3 of our 5, 165 to 402, and this game is looking really bad here, as we've only played just over 4 minutes, or just over 3 minutes, excuse me, into this game. So I continue to pepper the Bismarck. The damage is already up to 20,000 as he continues to burn. He certainly has to get out of Objective Bravo. The enemy team has captured B. Donuts is over there at Objective A, moving around a little bit, looking for some long-range shots here now on the Ernst Gaida, the Tier 6 German destroyer. There's also a Benson moving on Donuts as well, so now I'm going to shift my focus to these enemy destroyers. Now, the Chapayev is a very good destroyer killer, and it's the first Soviet cruiser that has access to radar. It has a range of 11.5 kilometers, and even though it only lasts for 20 seconds, you're still able to get 3 shots off with an 8-second reload, assuming, of course, that you use your radar and then within 4 seconds shoot your first salvo. So I'm looking here for some shots, get yet another fire set, fire number 4 on the Bismarck. He continues to shoot, and you can see how I've been playing with the throttle for quite some time here at the beginning stages of the game, just trying to dodge the shells that are incoming. Now, the Chapayev's, one of its weaknesses, of course, is its turning circle. It's over 800 meters. I think it's up near 900, and it's absolutely horrific. And when you combine it with a relatively mediocre rudder shift of, I think, somewhere around 10 seconds, this thing takes a long time to move. However, it is a very very fast ship, so you are able to slow down really nice. The Benson backs up just a little bit. I catch a glimpse of his rear end, and I'm able to get about 3,000 damage there with 9 of my 12 shells hitting the aft section of his ship. So up to 42,000 damage already. I've burnt down a Bismarck to quite low health. Unfortunately, we still have the 3 destroyers that are dead, so the scores right now, 225 to 462, still not very good. The Bismarck, the second Bismarck, that is, Boda 136, shoots at me, and you can see I've just been playing with the throttle, moving around, and I got a fire burning on him, I think. No, somebody else does. So I am just going to continue to shoot at him and try to get some more fires on him. Now, at this point, I noticed the enemy Otago is only 8.7 kilometers away, so I'm going to load the armor piercing, and as I mentioned before on the previous Chapayev game that I had, the armor piercing on this ship is not that bad. If you're able to get within 10 kilometers, it has over 200 millimeters of penetrative power along broadside targets, so you can catch the Citadel of this Otago, where my rear turrets get into play. There we go, get a double Citadel, about 7,000 points of damage. Now, of course, as soon as he turns away, my shots are pretty much going to all bounce, but if they do give you that perfect perpendicular broadside, you can get some pretty decent shots in. So I switch back to high explosive. The Otago continues to burn, and the Ernstgeida makes his way into A as the enemy team is about ready to capture it, and they certainly do. They have lost 1 cruiser thus far, but we are still in quite the hole. The majority of our team is actually over here at Objective Alpha, quite a few of our battleships, and there we go, a nice shot. And shooting destroyers at range with the Chapayev is something that is really not that difficult, because you have over 900 meters a second on your shell speed as it comes out of the barrel. Continue to shoot more. The Otago just goes undetected as I get another broadside of high explosive off, up to 65,000 points of damage, so very good stuff. There we go, get a couple. When targets do angle in, however, the high explosive shells, they don't have very good penetration whatsoever. Do set a fire as I get a hit on the Ernstgeida as he goes into his smoke. Trying to get another shot here at the Otago. Will this be the kill? He takes a pretty big hit. He's only on 1,300 health, and unfortunately, I do not. I put him on literally no health, set another fire, and he gets taken out with bombs from the Lexington. So now I'm going to continue to kite away, and I'm going to shoot now at this enemy Gneisenau and try to get him on fire so he pops his damage control. So we're now about 7 minutes into the game, and thus far, I feel like I've done okay. My buddy Donis has since moved on to Objective Bravo, and he does have a Benson trailing him. He asked me if I could get some shots on him. However, I wanted to get the fire set on the Gneisenau at least before I swung my turrets. However, he is handling the situation with the Benson pretty good if you do get angled in. There we go, another fire set on the Gneisenau, about 1,500 points of damage. Fire number 8. About 80,000 damage, and now I'm going to swing my attention here to the Benson, but I noticed the Donuts was doing fine over there, and I kept looking over there, making sure that he was okay, but it looks like he's going to take care of business. He is losing a bit of hit points, but so is the Benson as well. I do swing my front 2 turrets into play, however, and I am just a bit too far, and I believe by the time my shells get there, he's going to be dead anyway. The Kagero takes out our friendly turrets as he went around the headland down to the south along the 2 line, unfortunately. So we're still losing ships. We are down 4 ships to 3, 377 to 516. The enemy team still has 2 of the 3 caps. And I see this Ernstgeida is now moving up through the little narrows right here. So I'm swinging my turrets into play, and I'm going to get ready to get a full broadside out. So right as he's about to come around the corner, I'm going to get a full broadside out and immediately deploy my radar, and he ran aground. As the Gneisenau takes out our Bismarck, yeah, that's some pretty crappy luck. So my radar, unfortunately, is going to be completely wasted, as I'm not going to be able to get any shots at him whatsoever. The enemy Benson does appear back at Bravo. I asked Donuts if he is okay, and he's told me he'd be able to handle it, and he will shortly here get the kill. So now I'm in a pretty bad situation. Our Lexington has run into the bulk of the enemy team down here, and he's pretty much screwed. The Bismarck manages to take out a Cleveland, so now we're down 6 ships to 3. The guy is about to come around the corner, get my 2 front guns out, managed to get 1 hit for 726 damage. Very poor RNG right there. The Lexington is able to get a pretty good bomb salvo there on the Gaida, and I get my 2 turrets into play now from the front, and then the rear set 2 fires. He's only at 1,679 health. Get my front guns going. The rear turrets, will I be able to get the kill? Unfortunately, no. I do set him on fire yet again. The bombs miss. Looking for the kill shot. I only use my forward guns on the Gaida. Get the kill, set another fire. The rear turrets are now flying in towards the Gneisenau. 726, the rear shells, excuse me. As I continue to shoot at the Gneisenau. I think he's already popped his damage control, however, so I'm, again, going to continue to shoot the high explosive shells at him. Try and light him on fire yet again. I'm up to 12 fires and 90,000 damage. We got a Fuso. We got a, what is that? A Akatsuki. Yes, we got a Bismarck. So we got three enemy battleships, excuse me, and one destroyer that are coming. So now I'm going to go and pretty much play the bread and butter of the Soviet light cruiser line, being able to kite away from the enemy and use your rapid rate of fire to set fires and deal damage while not taking as much in return. Now, the Chapayev, one of the main strengths over the shores from Tier 7 is that you actually get some pretty workable belt armor. This thing has over 100, I think 110 millimeters of belt armor, something around there. It's more than the Admiral Hipper at Tier 8. And what it allows you to do is when you're facing against battleships that are lower tier than you that have smaller caliber guns, you're actually able to bounce right there. I bounced a shell from the Fuso, and you actually don't take too much damage from the 14 and even the 15-inch shells that you'll be getting fired at from a lot of the German battleships, Tier 7 and 8. So it's something nice that you didn't have that luxury on the shores. I'm up to 95,000 points of damage as I set yet another fire number 13. Continue to shoot. Now you can see here that running away from the enemy ships, you actually have a really good broadside angle for 3 of the guns anyway. You do have to swing your forwardmost turret quite a bit more, or your ship broadside, I should say, as I set yet another fire on the Gneisenau. Bounce another shell there from Piers, the Fuso. And yeah, you can get 3 of your guns comfortably. Set another fire on the Fuso, and this is going to continue. This will not get old whatsoever. So the Fuso's burning. I'm swinging all my guns into play now here on the Gneisenau. I know the Gneisenau also was able to use his damage control, so if I'm able to get a fire here, he will be screwed. And there we go. It's almost been like literally every salvo. Once again, another shell there, and you can see the angle at which the shells from the Gneisenau are hitting me. Very shallow, maybe 10 degrees, probably even less than that, and I'm able to bounce them. So that's at least 3 shells now that I've seen where they have bounced harmlessly off the hull of the ship. 107,000 damage. The Fuso and the Gneisenau continue to burn, which is always a good thing. More shells falling in on the Gneisenau. There we go. About 2,500 points of damage. I hit the unsaturated superstructure. Now I'm looking for the kill shot here on this Tier 7 German battleship. Will I be able to get it? Set another fire. There we go. Second kill of the game for me. 115,000 points of damage. Now I get some shots here at the enemy Bismarck, who's 14.5 kilometers away, and he's moving in. We only have 4 ships left, but the enemy team only has 5. Now, they do have 2 destroyers. However, we have moved into Objective Bravo. One of our battleships is in there. And it's not as dire as the game once seemed. So I continue to turn to port to get away from the Bismarck. And you can see here, as long as you're able to keep the distance far enough away, you're going to be able to do just fine in dodging the enemy shells. Looking for shots here now on the Fuso. I know he uses damage control probably about a minute ago or so. And I'm going to... You can see here, I'm keeping tabs on where this Bismarck is aiming, making sure that he's aiming at me still, and then also keeping tabs on when he is shooting, so I have the most amount of time to be able to get out of the way. His shells fall in. My shells fall in as well. A decent hit. Trying to set the Bismarck on fire as well. It might be boring. This is what your Soviet mid-tier cruisers are good for, just setting fires and being really annoying. And then all of a sudden the Akatsuki appears about 8.5 kilometers away, and he runs aground, and this is where my radar is going to come in handy. So he's at 12,000 hit points, and you're going to see just how fast his hit points get taken care of. I pick up the Confederate with 122,000 points of damage, and now everybody sees that this guy has beached himself and he's screwed. More shells falling in. There we go. About back-to-back salvos of over 2,500. Unfortunately, I was given just enough broadside for that Bismarck for him to get a Citadel, and that's really the only big damage that I'm going to take for the rest of the game, or for that matter, for the entire game. Is the Bismarck moves behind the island, however, that's over in F4. I know that I have a few salvos worth of time to be able to shoot at this Fuso and try to get him on fire as well. I've set 20 fires so far. Make that 21. The Akatsuki's torpedoes that he fired in desperation as he was trying to just do something before he died do not hit anything. Fire number 22 on the Fuso. Back-to-back fires. More shots falling on the Bismarck, and there we go. Fires 23 and 24. So now that Bismarck is going to be burning for quite some time. 134,000 points of damage, and the damage continues to pile up here. And this Bismarck has to be getting very, very angry. More torpedoes from where the Akatsuki was come in, but I don't really have any danger of taking any hits from them as I continue to move away from his position. The Bismarck continues to burn. The scores are now only 4-4, 600 to 723 respectively. Continue shooting. You can see the Bismarck just continues to get obliterated. The fire is just burning ferociously along his superstructure. 150,000, and there we go. Pick up the Witherer. It's at least 60,000 fire damage and flooding. Pick up the high caliber to go with it, and now the metals are just falling in. Very good stuff. The Bismarck continues to burn. I then stop to try and throw off his aim. I only take 1 shell on the bow. Overpen for about 1,100 damage. Continue to shoot at him. Will I be able to get the kill? Now I'm backing up. I definitely don't advise doing this all the time, but that's okay. Will I be able to snag the kill? Unfortunately, the kill stealer pro, the Mahan, this is not the first time that this is going to happen. Either way, the kill has been secured. 688 to 687. We've finally taken the lead back. So all there is the Fuso, the enemy Lexington, and one last destroyer. So very good stuff. And you see just how ridiculous this ship can be when RNG throws you a bone. 24 fires, and we're still not done yet with the arsonist stuff. Trust me, this ship, when RNG gives you it, can be very, very rewarding to play. So, at this point, 5:18 left in the game, continuing to shoot at the Fuso. This North Carolina, yeah, I think he overestimated the Fuso's ability to actually deal damage to him, because as I zoomed in and shot my turrets, he went from 26,000 to about 3,000 health in literally no time. So, my guess is that he was giving way too much broadside, which, well, I mean, hey, whatever. The Kagero, that's the enemy destroyer that's left, does take him out with the fire. So now the enemy team has taken the lead back, and there's only 3 ships left on each side. I set another fire, number 25, on the Fuso. His guns are pointing the wrong way, because he had to deal with the North Carolina, obviously. So I'm going to continue to shoot at him as he's trying to turn his turrets. Fire number 26. Absolutely ridiculous. He's continuing to burn. Will I get fire number 3? Unfortunately, no. And as I'm about ready to go behind the island here, I get one last salvo out at the Fuso, and I'm going to manage to hit quite a few more shells. Doesn't do much damage, but he's angled pretty well against me, so kind of saw that coming. 724 to 778. We have a destroyer at Bravo, and one of the battleships, the Scharnhorst, is moving around at Alpha. However, he is on low health, so we're still not out of the woods yet. The Fuso continues to blaze. We're about to crack 180,000 points of damage. And yeah, this replay, a lot better than the one on Islands of Ice, quite frankly. And I'll link that in the description below if you haven't seen it yet. This one just felt a lot better. I felt like I had a lot more influence on the game. And yeah, just overall a much better performance in this ship. More shells falling in on the Fuso. Set another fire, number 27. The stern of his ship is blazing. Will I be able to get a second fire? Hopefully I can hit the pagoda mast and set it ablaze. Do not right there. 9 out of the 12 shells hit. You can see the Chapayev is a very accurate cruiser, so if your shells are landing on target, you actually have a really good chance of setting fires, and there we go. Number 28. He is on his cooldown right now. However, it's probably went out. Another salvo against the Fuso. There we go. Set another fire, and now he is going to continue to burn. So at this point, I switched to the armor piercing, and you're going to see the potency of the armor piercing here. It's actually not that bad whatsoever. So he continues to burn. He's at about 4,000 health as I get a full broadside out, 6.8 kilometers. Will I get the kill? Almost. 2,100 damage. And the Mahan, with 3 hit points on the Fuso, manages to take out another ship. Hey, kill secure, that's what it's all about, right? 866 to 766. Wow, 191,000 points of damage, 29 fires off of 429 shell hits. You can see here that when you leave one of these things alone and just let it start to stack up the fires and the high explosive damage, it can become an extremely difficult ship to deal with. And like I said earlier, short of taking that one pretty ridiculous Citadel, I'd still have over 30,000 hit points and I'd be doing pretty well. So at this point, we're at 902 to 784. The Kagero is still down here around A. At this point, I was told by Donuts that the carrier was actually up here somewhere as well. So I'm going to start turning over here to the 1 and 2 line and go and try and see if he's behind the island. The game, there's only 2:13 left. So hopefully we'll be able to catch a glimpse of the carrier and maybe the destroyer. But at this point, the game is pretty much in the bag, at least so I think at the moment. So, there are enemy planes flying around down at Alpha. They're probably going to be going for the Scharnhorst, who's only on 3,000 health. And now I spot the Kagero. He's at 12 kilometers. The Scharnhorst manages to get a solid hit on him before he's about to die from the dive bombers, I believe. Yes, the Lexington does take him out. So at this point, I'm going to wait a few seconds after I shoot my forward guns. I do not hit the Kagero, but he was moving directly towards us, waiting for my rear turrets to swing a little bit more into play. And then I'm going to use my last radar of the game, and he appears at 9.5 kilometers. Get the front turrets out, and there we go. There's the Lexington. So I'm going to deal with this Kagero, and then I'm going to swing my attention attention to the Lexington. There we go. Get one hit. More shells falling in on the Kagero. Set of fire. Fire number 30. More shells flying in. Will I be able to get the kill? He's on 609 hit points. More shells falling. There we go. The Tier 8 Japanese destroyer taken care of. And now I'm going to swing my attention to the Lexington and try and pad them damage stats a little bit. Maybe get the kill before the game ends. There's only a minute and 7 seconds left in, but we are going to win by point total before the game ends. Do manage 7,000 damage. Set fire number 32 on the Lexington, and hopefully I'll be able to take him out before he gets behind the island. But like I said, the game is probably going to end before I'll be able to get the kill. Crack 210,000 points of damage. More shells flying in on the Lexington. And with this last salvo, I've managed to do 5,800 damage. And before my next set of shells is able to get to the Lexington and potentially get the kill, set fire number 33. The game ends. What a result. Taking a look now at the post-battle results, 553,000 credits received, 6,300 total XP, pick up a Confederate, Witherer, and High Caliber, 223,000 damage done, my second highest total in this ship, 478 target hits, 2 planes shot down, 3 ships destroyed, and a record 33 fires set. Taking a look at the team score, 2,842 base XP, easily tops in the game, with 3 ships destroyed, of course. Lethal Bocephus, kill securer extraordinaire in the Mahan with 4 of his own, almost a Kraken, and 1,821 base XP, so a very good job for yourself. And taking a look at the detailed report, 134,000 damage done by the main battery, and 88,000 damage done with those fires. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this replay in the Chapayev. Might get some more gameplay on this thing before I get to the Donskoy. I don't know. I have been doing, like I said, a lot better in this thing. So I hope between this replay and the one that I'm linking to you in the description, Islands of Ice, if you haven't seen it, you'll get a good idea on how to do really good in this ship. The Sneaky Snake here for Brothers in Arms World of Warships signing off. Have a great day, guys and gals. And I'll catch you next time.